All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, this past January and week 18 of the 2021 NFL season, the Indianapolis Colts boarded a plane to Jacksonville with their playoff fate in their hands. It was quite simple: win, and you're going to the postseason. However, that was not the case, even though the Colts only needed to beat the lowly Jacksonville Jaguars in order to secure that playoff berth. Instead, what we saw from this Colts team was the fact that they got dominated by Jacksonville, and in the process, their season came to an end. Now, the end result of that loss for the Colts, we saw them trade starting quarterback Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders, while they also acquired veteran starting quarterback Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons. Indy felt that with a new signal caller that they'd be able to get over the hump and get to the playoffs. But right now, the Colts are right back to square one. After 2 weeks of this season so far, Indy is winless. They're 0-1 and 1. They tied last week on the road with the Houston Texans, and then they were completely run off the field today, once again in Jacksonville, by the hands of the Jaguars. Now, the Colts found themselves down 17 to nothing at the break, and it didn't get any better from there as they go on to get shut out today by Jacksonville. Indianapolis was limited to just 218 yards of total offense, while they were also a mere 2 of 10 on third down, and they possessed the football today for less than 22 minutes. And at the end of the day, when you factor in that time of possession, their third down conversions, and the amount of total offense that they had, I don't care who you are at what level, you very rarely are you going to find a way to back into a win. And that definitely was not the case for the Colts today. Matt Ryan has been off to a slow start so far in his Colts career. He was 16 of 30 passing today for a buck 95, no touchdowns, obviously, since they got shut out, 3 interceptions, and he was also sacked 5 times. Jonathan Taylor, the all-world running back for the Colts, 9 carries, 54 yards. That's not going to get it done. Uh, at the end of the day, this Colts defense didn't have an answer for Jaguars second-year quarterback Trevor Lawrence. He was 25 of 30. He had a clean pocket. He was calm, cool, and collected back there all day long. He did basically whatever he wanted to do. Now, Lawrence had a pair of touchdown throws. The recipient of those, both of those touchdown passes being Christian Kirk. He had a big day, the former Cardinals wide receiver with 6 catches for 78 yards. And if you're the Colts, this was supposed to be the easier portion of your schedule. You look at what the Texans were and what the Jaguars were last year, and you come out of this 2 game stretch right here without a victory. And this is important because we saw Indy get off to the slow start last year. They picked it up and then they faded. And then for a lot of people, the thought was, well, they have themselves a better quarterback in Matt Ryan now, along with that strong running game and the way that they play defense. They're going to be able to go out there and win games. Excuse me. And if you go back to last week's game, the loss to the Texans, in that contest, Indy's offense was stagnant for the most part. They got it going late in order to rally from a double-digit deficit to force overtime. Had a chance to win it in overtime. Of course, missed a field goal. Kicker got cut, and then they had to settle for a tie. But today they were just non-existent. And you look at Jacksonville's game plan. I know it's a different coaching staff, all of that stuff, but the game plan was simple today. Go out there, take Jonathan Taylor out of the game, and make your veteran quarterback beat you with his arm. And at the end of the day, on both sides of the football, just like it was last year in week number 18, Jacksonville, plain and simple, out physical the Colts at the line of scrimmage. That's not going to get it done. So, yes, if you're Indianapolis, you still got 15 games to go. There's plenty of time to right this ship. And the good thing for them, I really don't see anybody running away with the AFC South this year. The Titans lost last week to the Giants. They got a very tough game tomorrow night on the road in Buffalo against the Bills. Then the Jacksonville Jaguars just got their first win of the year. They're 1-1. The Texans are currently playing the Denver Broncos right now. So even if the Texans lose that game, and even if Tennessee wins tomorrow night, if you're pardon me, if you're Indianapolis, you're just one game back in the loss column, and there's plenty of time to make it up. But if you're the Colts, you got to find a way to pick yourself off of the canvas. Excuse me. I'm thinking about Kansas because of Kansas City. That was about to be my next point because that is going to be Indianapolis's next opponent this coming Sunday. They're going to be hosting a Chiefs team that's 2-0. It's the Chiefs' first road game of the year, but also Kansas City is going to have some additional rest under their belts due to the fact that they played on Thursday night. Now, on the flip side for Indianapolis, that's going to be their first home game of the year. So now they have a way, or well, they need to find a way rather, to go out there and protect home field and take care of their business and get that home crowd behind them. But if you're Frank Reich, the Colts head coach, you got to get back to basics. You have to establish your running game at the line of scrimmage. Matt Ryan, for all of the hoopla that came around him being traded to Indianapolis, he's not a quarterback, especially at this stage of his career, that's going to put a team on his back. The thought was, you know what, let him play off of that running game. But now the Colts are not running the football effectively. And Indy has to get back to that because that's their bread and butter. You look at last year when Indy went on that tear, they out physical people at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. The Colts have to get back to doing that, playing Colt football. But like I said, luckily for them, there is still plenty of football ahead of them. So they have an opportunity to get this righted. Not the start that the Colts obviously wanted, not the start that the Colts needed as well. But for their sake, they got to go back to the drawing board and find a way to get things going. And, like I said, get back to their bread and butter before this season gets away from them. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.